Alright, so today we're going to take another look over the fence at our dysfunctional neighbors. And this time, I have a confirmed report of a Trump supporter getting exactly what he voted for. Now, I'm not here to shame the guy. Well, maybe a little bit. But the point is to show that ticking the box beside Donald Trump's name comes with consequences. And this clip really proves it. So you're not going to want to miss this one. I also want to show you some photos that one of our viewers sent in. It's some pretty borderline maple washing happening at a grocery store in the Lower Mainland in BC. I'll show you those photos in a minute. Today's backdrop comes from Lisa, who took this photo from Cape Breton. I mentioned in a previous video how much I love seeing Canada's coastline. So thank you, Lisa, for sending this in. Alright, let's get to those borderline maple washing photos. Now, we're used to seeing these signs everywhere. Proudly Canadian, made in Canada, Canadian owned. You see those, and right away you think, alright, these must actually be Canadian, or at least the store is trying to highlight real Canadian products. But one of our viewers took a closer look at the box. And yeah, it's disappointing. The label actually says all items are product of USA. But right above it, it says packed in Canada. It reminds me of this report I did a while ago.
Who want to support Canadian-made products and companies rely on Made in Canada labels as a guide to choose which products to purchase. But some can be misleading. If not read carefully, one might not catch that only the pouch is manufactured in Canada. The walnuts are in fact a product of the USA.
It's a bag of walnuts,
Yeah.
but as you see, the label has a Canadian maple
Big
leaf,
time, big
but it
time.
says the pouch was manufactured here.
The poach was probably
So when you look a little closer, only the pouch was manufactured in Canada, but
no. Really, I'm looking for like 100% Canadian stuff.
So I have to ask, do you consider this maple washing? Because technically, the store is saying that they are operated by Canadians, but they're not actually claiming the product is Canadian. To me, it still feels a bit deceiving. Hickory Farms is a US company out of Toledo, Ohio. And yeah, they have locations in Canada, but by putting up a big sign that says operated by proud Canadians, doesn't magically change where the product comes from. And saying it's packed in Canada also doesn't change where the product comes from as well. It just means someone put the items in a box here. So let this be a reminder. Don't get fooled by the flashy signs at the kiosks or the stores. Always read the actual label to see where the product, not the box or the pouch, was really made. I never found any updates on the lawsuit against the big grocers out of Montreal. So if anyone knows what happened to that, please let me know in the comments or send me an email. Alright, let's get into the two reports about the MAGA supporter getting exactly what he voted for. The first report is from just over a month ago, and the second one is a follow-up.
Eye on America, farmers caught in the middle of a trade war. Janet Shamlian reports from Greenville, Illinois.
It's harvest season in America's heartland.
Is this the prime harvest time in southern Illinois?
Yes, it is right now.
But for soybean farmers like Scott Gaffner, what's usually a time of reward is now a season of worry.
The great majority of it coming from this area would go to China.
Not this year.
Not this year, right?
China normally buys more than half of America's soybeans, but has bought none this year amid the ongoing trade war. Gaffner says farmers like himself, who overwhelmingly voted for the president, are caught in the crossfire.
Now, this isn't new to any of us. We already know the soybean farmers are screwed. We also know that China is buying from Argentina now. And Argentina also got that $40 billion gift from Trump on the taxpayer dime. Now, I know it's a loan, but I kind of doubt you'll ever get it back. But I wanted to show this clip because he straight up confirmed that he's a Trump supporter. And his vote is exactly what put him in this mess. He's not caught in the crossfire. He walked straight into it.
We can't help but feel very anxious of wondering why it's taking so long to get this resolved.
Are you angry?
Well, whenever you see the administration meet in Spain and they talk about TikTok instead of farming, whenever we're getting ready to harvest, our clock is already tick-tocking away. The farther we go into this season, the more we're going to lose. And China should have been buying our beans already, and they're not. It's like crickets.
So soybeans from his 600 acres are going into silos, waiting for the market to turn. And while the Trump administration is planning to bail out farmers with billions collected from tariffs, similar to what happened during Trump's first trade war,
We don't want the aid, we want the trade.
Gaffner says one-time relief is not a long-term solution.
If China starts buying elsewhere, which they are doing now, once they establish those trade routes, it becomes more difficult for them to come back to the U.S. to buy their commodities.
Did you think about that when you casted your vote? You might say you don't want to bail out now, but if you have no markets to sell to, or the market you do have is a tiny fraction of what you're used to, I'm pretty sure you're going to take that bailout. Notice the language that he's using though. He hasn't directly blamed the person responsible for all of this. Now, I'm not going to play the rest of this clip because Scott and his son just go on about how much the farm means to them, yada, yada, yada. If you want to see the full video, the link is in the description below. Now let's take a look at the update and see what Scott is up to now.
Tensions between the United States and China currently cooling off after President Trump's recent trip overseas. But American farmers are still hurting from this dispute. Eunice Yoon joins us right now with more on this. And Eunice, these are complicated times.
Definitely complicated times, Becky. The trade truce has raised hopes among American farmers that the worst may be over. But as I found out in Shanghai, it's not a done deal.
All right, let me just pause for a minute. I know the soybean topic hasn't been in the news lately because there's so much other shit going on at the moment. But I want to bring this up because Trump was out there on social media and Fox News boasting that the trade deal with China was secure and that China would be buying tons of soybeans now that the deal was done. I find it hilarious that it's not a done deal at all. And my guess? China's not going to forget what Trump did to them. They probably have their own plans, and none of those plans involve rewarding the guy who tariffed them into the ground. Now let me know what you think in the comments. Do you actually believe that the soybean farmers will get a deal?
Illinois soybean farmer Scott Gaffner has come to Shanghai to save his China business.
We want to make sure that our soybeans are getting exported to China because it's a very important market to us.
Gaffner is part of a delegation of American farmers who visited an import fair here after President Trump met China's Xi Jinping in South Korea, in part to reboot stalled U.S. soybean sales.
Amid the current trade war, the Chinese specifically targeted U.S. soybeans to pressure President Trump. That caused major financial problems for American farmers, like Mr. Gaffner.
Gaffner sold 40% of his soybean exports to China. When he arrived in Shanghai, zero.
Normally, whenever we're combining the soybeans, we're going to take them right to the river, down the river to Louisiana, and then ship that to China. But with China not buying any soybeans, we're taking them right to our bins and we're storing them in our bins.
You probably wouldn't have to do this or fly all the way to China to beg them to buy your soybeans if you and millions of others didn't vote for the orange guy. But you did. Now here's something to think about. China is pissed off at the United States, just like Canada, and pretty much the rest of the world. And when you piss off the Chinese, they don't forget, just like us Canadians. So I would not expect your presence at this trade show to magically fix anything. And I'm pretty sure the businesses at the event already know who you voted for, just like we do. And if you want to know just how pissed off the Chinese are at the US, let's not forget what happened earlier this year. China's manufacturers literally exposed the luxury brand suppliers for all the big US name brands and revealed the real prices behind the so-called premium items. This was back in April before I even started this channel. And you can bet they're still pissed off over the tariffs and everything that the US has been doing since.
After Trump's talks with Xi, there's hope business may be back. The White House says China will buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans by the end of this year and 25 million for each of the next 3 years. That's still down from the near 27 million China bought in 2024. China has yet to confirm the numbers.
I'll wait for China to confirm first before I actually believe any of this.
We'd like to have just kind of a continuation of smooth sailing. Do I think that's realistic? I don't know. These are two big, powerful countries, a lot of issues.
Gaffner is still optimistic. Towards the end of his trip, he got a call his farm sold one shipment.
We'd like no trade war because hopefully that levels the playing field and we just want to do business.
Does anyone else absolutely hate that term, level the playing field? You can always tell who supports Trump because they repeat every single line that comes out of his mouth. It's like hearing an echo of speeches every time they open up their mouth. And for the record, you wouldn't have to level the playing field if you didn't vote for him.
American soybean farmers are still at a disadvantage. The Chinese have lifted retaliatory tariffs on some agricultural products, but they maintain a 13% tariff on U.S. soybeans. So, Becky, that makes U.S. soybeans much more expensive still than some of the other countries' soybeans.
So is anyone else confused about how this Scott guy can still support the same political party that put him in this mess? Your farm is at risk. Your markets are gone. You literally had to fly to China to beg them to buy your soybeans. And in the next election, does anyone want to guess what party he's going to vote for? I think we all know. And if he has a change of heart, I will apologize online. What I do know is that just like Canadians, China is never going to trust this US administration again. And the damage is going to last long after Trump finally leaves office. So what's my takeaway from Scott? Well, don't be like Scott. And if you are like Scott, don't complain about what's happening to your industry. There's no one else to blame. Consequences suck, eh? That's all I have for today. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.